You may think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game of tactics, strategy, and if you're a main character, perfectly coiffed hair. But there is something that people seem to overlook, yet is a fundamental part of the game, and that is maths.
I summon my monster and attack you directly. I switch my monster into defense mode. I attack your face down monster and deal 600 piercing damage. Minus 900 life points.
Now luckily the nice people of Konami made sure that most monsters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game end in a 00 or a 50, so that it's pretty easy to work out how much life point damage you take or that you give. However, there was one huge scumbag in the anime that decided to have the most awkward attack and defense values, making it one of the most difficult decks to play against. And that man's name was Panic, with a K at the end, also known as the Player Killer of Darkness if you watch the Japanese. Panic played a Dark Fiend deck in the anime, with his monsters having some unusual attack and defense values. They tended to end with 10, 20, 30, 80, and honestly, if you were lucky, they'd end in a 50. So you can imagine playing against this guy or some of these cards, and just the maths you have to do to work out what attack damage you're doing, and just some of the life point counters that you'd have at the end of these kind of matches would just be really weird, so I thought we'd cover this. To give the guy some defense though, there is a reason for this abnormal attack and defense values. It seems like the anime was trying to make the attack and defense values of these monsters match more closely to the attack and defense values of the corresponding monsters in the manga, after the field power bonus that was given. Regardless, I want to take you through some of the weird monsters that Panic used to really frustrate his opponents with maths while they were playing. There's also going to be a couple extra ones that I found that Panic didn't use. I also found them so I could make this a top 10 list, but anyway, let's look at the 10 monsters, shall we? First up, I've gone with King of Yama Kai. He's a level 5 Dark Fiend monster whose card description reads quite simply, wields the power of darkness to destroy its enemies. So far, pretty standard stuff. Attack power 2000, no, not too bad. So what's his defense out of interest? Well, it's 1530. So while this monster has quite normal attack power, and actually it's quite good for the time that this card came out, especially as a level 5, the defense is pretty weird. Interestingly enough though, this monster's manga version was a level 7 monster. It had 2600 attack and 2300 defense. So I imagine if you give this monster a little bit of a power boost from the darkness field power bonus, it would kind of sort of work its way up to those kind of stats, but no, the defense is weird. Number 10. And number 9, I've gone with Dark Chimera. It's a level 5 dark monster with its card description reading, a fire-breathing monster that dwells in the Netherworld. So this monster's attack is 1610, and its defense is 1460. I mean, what were they thinking? 1610? Pretty rewarding if you go against a monster with 1600 attack and you're just over it by 10 attack, but it's just so much hassle, these weird numbers. His original manga counterpart is a level 6 monster who possesses 2100 attack and 1900 defense. Again, a much more reasonable attack and defense pattern. Barox. It's a level 5 dark fusion monster. It is made up of 2 monsters, Ryukishin and Frenzied Panda. Both of these monsters as well have pretty normal attack and defense values. However, somehow when you combine these 2 monsters together, they make the weird value of 1380 attack and 1530 defense. Taking out the weird values, it's just terrible for a fusion monster anyway. It's awful. Looking at its original manga counterpart though, it's a level 5 monster who possesses 1800 attack and 2200 defense. Yeah, that's not too bad. Next up, we have quite an iconic card in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game, Reaper of the Cards. Now, this monster is a level 5 dark monster with a flip effect. Its effect is basically just destroy one trap card on the field. If it happens to be a spell card, just have a little look at it, then put it back. Now, Reaper of the Cards has 1380 attack and 1930 defense. In comparison, its manga counterpart has 1800 attack and 2000 defense. The field power bonuses make a big difference. Next up is Metal Guardian. Panic played with a lot of monsters that were level 5, I'm starting to notice. Its card lore reads, a fiend guarding the treasures of the Netherworld. It's most at home in the dark. Keep in mind as well, this monster is a level 5. It has 1150 attack, but I guess it does have 2150 defense, which it still ends in 50, which is always a little bit of hassle, but it's not too bad, I guess. If anything, I'd say this one's the least worst of all the cards, having 1150, I guess, but still, it's hassle. Interestingly though, the manga counterpart of this card has 1500 attack and a whopping 2800 defense. That's not too bad. Now, before we get to the final Panic card, I actually have a couple cards that weren't used by him, starting with Sword Arm of Dragon. It's a level 6 Earth Dinosaur type monster. Its card lore reads, this Jurassic Juggernaut has a spine covered in sword-like plates, and a tail to split open skulls. I don't know about its tail splitting open skulls, but I think its defense value would, with 2,030 defense. It also has a more reasonable 1,750 attack, but it could have been better really. Next we have a weird attack valued monster that is much more modern than these other cards, so even today we do get a couple weird ones. This one is number S39, Utopia Prime, which is of course a rank 4 light Xyz monster. This guy has 2,510 attack and 2,000 defense. It's just weird, the random 10 extra attack points on the staple 2,500 attack points of Utopia monsters. So with 2,510, I guess if you went against something with 2,500 attack like Dark Magician, I guess it's quite rewarding to know that you're going to do 10 life point damage after you attack over the monster, but alright, I guess. Cool. But if you think his attack points are the only weird thing about this monster, then you should definitely check out his effect, which is kind of just as weird. As if your opponent's life points are 3,000 higher than yours, you can detach 3 Xyz materials from this card to make your own life points 10. I mean, the rest of this monster's attack is pretty cool, but it's just a strange effect really to make your own life points down to 10. Why not 100? I don't know. Now, with this one I think I might be cheating just a little tiny bit because we're not going to use the original version of it, we're going to use the anime version. However, I guess you can consider this card, which I'm going to absolutely butcher, which is the Earthbound Immortal Raska. In the real world card game, it still has a weird attack and defense value of 100 attack and 100 defense. But fair enough to the card, its effect allows you to actually increase the monster's attack by, I think at most 3,000, so you can have a 3,100 attack point monster. In the anime, however, this monster has 1 attack and 1 defense. Yes, just single digits, just 1 attack and 1 defense. However, if you don't know its anime effect, it can actually make your opponent's life points go all the way down to 1. So when it has the ability to attack directly as well, with 1 attack point, then yeah, I guess that's fair enough. But why not just make it 100 attack and 100 defense? I guess it makes it different, but it's just a bit weird. So I thought I'd throw this in the list anyway because it's interesting. My last honourable mention is going to be the Winged Dragon of Ra. Now, this was a funny one to put on there as well because it has mystery attack and mystery defense, so it could be any value. And this is another one that is classed as more the anime is weirder than the original card one. Because in the real world card effect, Winged Dragon of Ra, you can pay all of your life points until 100 to give this monster attack value. So that's not too bad. However, in the anime, you can pay life points until you have 1 life point left. Which, when Marek uses this card, he gives it some weird attack values because of the, you know, how many life points he had left. So again, this is another one of the monsters that I thought I'd just throw in there because it's interesting as well. Finally, I've chosen the Castle of Dark Illusions, which was the actual inspiration for this list. This monster is a level 4 Dark Fiend type monster. It has 920 attack and 1,930 defense. Okay. I mean, in the manga, it had 1,200 attack and 2,500 defense, and after applying the field power bonus to this card, though it isn't exact, if you round, I think, the attack value down and then the defense value up by adding 30%, I think it was, to this card, then you sort of get the results for this. So this is how the inspiration for the Panic monsters actually came to be. By adding the power bonuses to them, this is how they made them similar to that in the real world and in the anime, which is, of course, bad because then you get these weird attack and defense values, but I just thought it was interesting and it is the inspiration for this list, this monster, because I was reading about it and it was fun. Another little bonus fun fact is the kanji right there on the card I do believe means yame, which means darkness. However, if you go and watch the English dub of the anime, it is actually removed and it is replaced by like just black there or darkness, which I think is a nice bit of irony, really. But guys, that was my top 10 weird attack point monsters that I found in the trading card game. Are there any other cards that I missed out? Let me know in the comment section below because I'm sure there's more. I hope you enjoyed this list because I made it just for fun, really. There wasn't too much to say about the cards, I just kind of wanted to point them out. But if you enjoyed the video, guys, don't forget to give this video a like. Check out some of my other content if you'd like to. But other than that, I want to say thank you very much for watching. Catch you later.